Into the ropes and off. A flying tackle by and a drop kick.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Got to hold it just a minute. You want a little bit more?
I'm the real heavyweight.
Gotta be the best of me. More to me than anything I've ever done in wrestling.
Nick Aldis, the 10 pounds of gold. The championship has existed in its current proper form since 19.
Pretty hard, and look at Buddy going to work now. Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time, and thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling's Billy Corgan's NWA. We paid a lot of money for some people last couple episodes. We might still do it too, because we found out that if you, for example, let's just say, the Voneriks, if we were to say, hey, we want a written exclusive deal that's ironclad, and we'll give you so much per show for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. We can get them at a exclusive lockdown price. So like right there, I could do like 500 and just lock them in. I probably actually do less than that too, but I don't. Oh shit! Oops. All right. Well, we're gonna have to do 500 if we do it. So we could lock them down, right? We could lock a lot of people down into exclusive contracts only working for us, which is pretty powerful because the value doesn't have to be that high. Now we lost out with Pillman here because we had to pay premium for a monthly contract, a ridiculous price of $17,000 a month for him. It's really, honestly, probably not worth it, and it's probably a money mark decision on my part. But if we're proactive, we could do things like having contracts exclusive written that are locked in for a period of time for per show. He wouldn't take that because he already got floated a monthly contract, but we could be proactive. So we might do that with, like, you know, the Voneriks. Something like, let's say a 1 year contract. Would he take 300? Can I get him for cheap and his brother for hire? So, actually, I want that ironclad. So, ironclad means that basically they can't walk. They're locked in. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I think there's some situations where they can. But with a non-ironclad, anyone can come in and be like, "Yo, do you want this?" You know, with ironclad, acts like the old school written contract. Only written contracts can have ironclad clauses. You don't want a handshake. Yeah, I'm fine with giving you the 300. So we might do that, lock him in for 1 year. An exclusive contract is not that bad. We're going to have to end up now paying his brother higher, unfortunately. But that's fine. Not the end of the world. 500 not long ago. That's fine. That's honestly, it's peanuts compared to what we dropped earlier. So that'll lock some people in. It's not a bad idea because honestly, it costs a little bit more, but it's not that much more. There's not many other people we really desperately want to lock in right now. But it's not a bad option. Like, I might even want to lock in a Ricky Starks, but honestly, he's kind of understated in this mod, and I don't think anyone's going to take him anytime soon. So I don't think we have to worry about it. Ace Austin might not be a bad option to lock down if possible, and just do like a 1 year ironclad. I don't know what the cost would be, but so he wouldn't be interested at all. Like, maybe if I floated 1,000. No. So some people aren't going to take it, and that's fine. That is what it is. We did definitely float way too high on a contract for Pillman, and we're probably going to suffer for it, to be honest. And it might be some tough decisions coming ahead in terms of what to do with that. One of the tough decisions is I think we're going to make Power a 1-hour show. Not the end of the world, though, because I think we're going to turn into a monthly pay-per-view schedule. I think it's going to help our momentum in the long run if we have a pay-per-view every month, like some kind of super show, a 2-hour super show every month with a 3 or 3.5 hour super show 4 times a year or something like that are bigger shows. Let me know what you think. I think we'll reset it around Into the Fire. After that, we'll change the system because we'll have a little bit more of a handle on the financials of what we're looking at. Last month, we lost money, so it's looking like we're probably going to be in a situation where we're going to lose more money consistently. We're not really going to know until January, though, because some of this loss came from bonuses and giving out flat fees for signing bonuses. So it's hard to say. But looking at this, you know, what are we looking at? Ticket sales have been steady, though October was oddly bad. I don't know what happened there. It might have been because of the lack of a pay-per-view. So this is a good point here. We're doing every other month right now. And honestly, I think it's better. Well, actually, we're losing more money when we're not doing it. I don't know. I think it's worth it to do it in the grand scheme of things. I think cutting down to an hour, pay-per-view every month, I think we're going to see a boost in our pay-per-view revenue. I think we'll see a boost in our ticket sales. That might equalize from the performance end, but I think if we cut down an hour each, you know, that's like 4 hours less than what we're doing. Well, actually, it's a little bit less than that because of the pay-per-view, but you know what I mean. Like we're still cutting performance out. We have to manage morale a bit more and a bit better, but that comes with dark matches and dark post matches for main events and stuff that we can handle. I think there's some options. We also have to clear the glut in the gloat. The gloat. That's not clear all of the overrun on our roster here. A lot of this is the tournaments because we have the squared circle tournament, but not all of it is. Some of these people can just go. And I think we have to make some decisions on that. Some of them are going on their own accord. I think there will be some decisions that we have to make on our own. And we might do a firing stream after Into the Fire. Just to get rid of it and maybe find some new people, some new classes. But other than that, probably just dumping. Don't know how our financials for our child company is doing either, actually. We absorb all that loss. Was that in the financials? Alliances, developmental, running costs, show costs. Doesn't specify what they are costing. But we do own them, so theoretically we could get them to cash positive at some point, and actually possibly make money off of them. Their ticket prices are normal. Broadcasting, change. I don't know where I could find their financials. I would think it would be bundled up in here, but we don't really see in here where they really show up. That's kind of a bummer. It would be nice to have a little clarity on here. Like, we might be able to look at their company and find out that way what they were running at. There we go. Combat Zone Wrestling. Certainly hard to tell because they're absorbing all of their losses into us by the end, right? The cash at end. Let's do some maths here. I don't know if they I don't know if the last month they were positive or not. Let's do some quick, rough, down and dirty math here. And see. but I suspect they're running at a loss. So they made about like 30K, let's say, and they lost just about the same, I think. Just whipping out a calculator here to see. Maybe a little bit more. No, a little bit. They're cash positive. Their performance actually, they were slightly cash positive by the end of things. I think it's the profit got absorbed into us. So overall, then I think they're not doing too bad. They might be spending too much money on workers, but it's not horrible by any stretch. No pay-per-views. We might have to look at what they're doing in terms of their show. Because we might want to, I don't know, we might want to set something up for them, because they might be able to provide us some revenue, because they actually are making just a little bit, like a couple grand that we absorbed into them. It's a drop in the bucket to the 42K that we lost last month, though. So that's a problem. All right, enough of that. We got a tournament to not finish, but we need to finish this round. So I think this month, or this episode, we're going to basically clear out this rung of the tournament. Get us down to the quarterfinals here. Which right now we have set for Chris Brooks and Thief Ant, and Zachary Wentz and Chris Bay. Jervis Cottonbellies versus to be decided, and somebody else to be decided. I believe the attribute that we were looking at was athleticism. So for those that were wondering how we're doing it, we're combining the scouting level, averaging it out, and whoever's is higher is the winner. So that's how we're doing it when we don't have a full scouting. We're just kind of taking the average of, like, they're somewhere within this range, and that is providing decisions, and it's providing some weird upsets. And what we'll do is the next episode, we'll spin the wheel again for the quarterfinals, and we'll see what the next attribute will be that will decide a random winner. And the winner of the entire tournament will get a title shot, or not a title shot, sorry, a contract. Everybody else is leaving, though. So there are some people that are still temporarily on our roster, but I'm not going to do, I think, what I did last time, which is I kind of ended up hiring or stealth hiring people from the tournament. I think for now, because we're going to go into a more conservative crunch, if you don't win that tournament, you're not going to be on that roster. And I know some people, like let's say a particular stable, is currently on the roster. It ain't going to be for long, because once that tournament's done, everyone's gone. So anyone but that one person is going to be gone. And maybe we pick them up later, but they were in the tournament, they lost their shot. The winner gets a contract. So we shouldn't let anybody that's not a winner have that contract. It kind of defeats the purpose of the tournament. So that's what we're going to do. And that's going to be our focus for probably the pre-show and some of the show, other than trying to build up to Into the Fire. Let's go on and get on to it. All right. We're ready to book this. Gotta get into a correct location here. 498, still exactly the same audience. We're not growing our audience, unfortunately. But this will be cheap, and it'll be accommodating, and we'll go back to the studio, no problem. Didn't look like there was any locker room issues, which is nice. I'm going to open format and just let people air their grievances. There's a lot of grievances I was seeing. It should just boost morale a little bit for those people. We have absent workers. No absent workers this time. Like one of the first times that we've actually had no absent workers, which is nice. So what happened in the last episode? We had Kingston and Pillman kind of getting vicious. FDR and the Voneriks continued their feud. Tessa failed to actually challenge for the championship. Kimberly says she's going to be a fighting women's champion. So we'll have to see who she faces and who shows up for her to face. we had the New Shield and the Smoking Aces having a no kind of double DQ chaos match. And Danhausen's been trying to get back into the office. So some stuff happening. A little bit here and there. We still have a bunch of storylines to focus on. Obviously, we had the Nick Aldis one, which I don't think we did much in here at all. No, we did. We did have a little bit of Aldis and the Cult forming. So we got some things to build up to. We still have about another, I think this episode and the next episode is the go home show for Into the Fire. So we have some little bit of time to build, but we're definitely getting down to the home stretch. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, we are back, ready for our 2-hour power. It's pretty good, I think. It ends up going a few minutes shorter than our maximum, but it's still actually 2 minutes over than what the normal slot would be. Normally, I think we're slated for 2 hours, so 120 minutes. We went up like 122, plus the 2 pre-show matches. So, you know, we're within the ballpark. It's going to be difficult when we go down to 1 hour to book things, but we'll manage. We will also have more pay-per-views to kind of deal with that too, I think. We just have to have shorter matches, more angles, so we'll make it work. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start the show and see what we have. So we start with the pre-show with 2 of the 3 of the next round. All of the round of the Circle Squared for this round will be finished in this episode. One of them is on the main show as the opener, because I think it has the potential to be the best in terms of match quality. We'll see, but you know, well, I've been wrong before, but I think it'll go well. Remember, we are rating this on athleticism, and this is the episode of surprises, because I was kind of shocked at the results of this immensely. So we start with Effy getting a win against Lance NWA. Effy's athleticism rating is far exceeding Lance NWA. Now, I guess it's not that surprising. I've seen Effy work, but I don't necessarily consider him like an incredibly athletic wrestler. But he definitely had I think a 14-point difference or something crazy like that. So he moves on. Lance does not. Effy had a 47. Lance had a 35. They actually had good quality chemistry here, and this was a work the crowd match. Didn't quite work the crowd though. We didn't get the crowd roaring or anything like that. But not a bad match. 45. I'm really hoping now that the match that I put on the actual show is better than this, because I'm going to be really disappointed because I think this was the one I moved. But we'll see. The next one was again an upset in a different direction. I had to use a coin flip for this one because RJ City and King Mo had the exact same number. So both were equally athletic, which then led to me just having to do a coin flip as a tiebreaker. And I guess we could have played Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo because the result ended up being that King Mo defeated RJ City in 5 minutes, submission with a leg lock. This was a wild brawl. It didn't really do much here for us, unfortunately. But King Mo does move on in the tournament. Segment gets a 33. It's the right place for the pre-show match here. Oh man, I should have kept the match as I had it. TJP and Tetsuya Endo have a high spots match. Got the show off to a strong start. But another surprise upset, I would have thought Perkins would have taken it, but Endo had like a 3-point difference. And Endo defeats TJP in 11 minutes after a pinfall with a Phoenix Splash. That leaves us with nobody else in our finals. So the next, or not our finals, I'm sorry, our round. So the next round, we're going to have to determine a random attribute to choose from next. So we're going to keep on going down the line until we get basically to the finals, in which I'll finally just make a decision. Makes it interesting. It really makes it feel like we have no idea who's going to be the winner here. Even I don't know. So it's kind of fun. But unfortunately, some surprise upsets here. Some of the people that I expected did not carry on in this round at all. But that is what it is, I suppose. Segment 42, a little underwhelming compared to our pre-show match that we moved out of the way for. But it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. And we got Tim Storm out there as temporary GM until we find an actual GM to run the show, which we still are scouting for. I don't know who I want yet, but we got to find somebody that maybe is an occasional wrestler, maybe a former wrestler, that would be a good fit. You got ideas, let me know. I really don't, to be honest. I'm still kind of figuring out who I want in that position. Good authority figure, commissioner, some kind of commissioner figure or something like that would be fun. Somebody maybe with some lineage to the NWA in the past. If we don't make a decision, it's just going to be Jeff Jarrett, and I think that'd be hilarious. But I don't know. Well, I don't know how you guys feel about that. Anyways, so Tim Storm announces that there's going to be a triple threat that was decided by the booking council. That all three of these guys have shown great strides in the last couple months, and there's no clear leader right now. So Kingston, Miro, and Eli Drake will all compete in the main event tonight. The winner of that match will face Pillman at Into the Fire and have a shot directly for the championship. So this segment does, fine for a Tim Storm segment. It's also not actually, I think it's set as a minor angle, so it will have like no bearing on us whatsoever. All right, this was actually better than I thought it would be. We got Backstage Segment. Voneriks are in the back, and they're preparing for a major night because they actually have a champion shot against FTR tonight. So we're going to have the belts on the line. Can they take it and become the two-time NWA Tag Team Champion? They're back there, and then Kevin comes in to talk about strategy. And the brothers sit him down, and they tell him, they say, listen, Dad, we were happy you were here to support us in the company, and we're happy you trained us, but it's just not working out right now. We want to do things the right way. And we feel like the last few months you've kind of led us down a darker path. We want to win the gold again, but we want to do it the right way. The way your brothers did. You did. Kevin nods and looks disappointed, and, but he kind of accepts it and says, listen, everything I've done outside the ring, everything we've done together, it's only been to let you succeed. I don't mean any ill will from it, but I understand if this is the way you gotta do it, you feel like this is the way you gotta do it, and you're ready for it, well, I love you guys. Good luck. So there's a mutual parting of the ways. It seems like the dark path of the Voneriks is over, splitting up from their dad as a manager, and we actually lost some heat for the segment, unfortunately, for the FTR versus them storyline. Got the crowd hotter, though, so that's kind of interesting. So Voneriks now have removed Kevin from the managerial role. They look like they're going back to straight baby faces. And we'll see how they play out. Maybe they will succeed in their triumph against FTR tonight. We got a weird exhibition match. Nick Aldis is teaming with one of the Big Rig finalists, Ricky Starks, versus the other finalist, Matt Cross, versus the NWA National Champion, AR Fox. Just a very sports entertainment match. It's really a vehicle to have Starks and Matt face 2 weeks out from their finals in the Into the Fire pay-per-view. Gives them an opportunity to fight without actually having to fighting directly. And it's a decent match. It gets a 50. It's actually pretty damn good, all things considered. Most of that is AR Fox. A little bit of that's Nick Aldis. Matt Cross actually not doing too bad on his own. But Matt Cross and AR Fox actually defeat Aldis and Starks. Matt Cross pinned Ricky Starks after a death from above. During this match, we had some shenanigans, though, because Pentagon Dark arrived and ended up distracting Aldis, which delayed a much-needed tag-in that forced a weakened Starks to get a fresh Matt Cross tagged in instead and got one up. So, not quite a clean win, but definitely not the type of momentum Starks would want on his side going into the final here, and definitely something that's going to work in Matt Cross's favor. AR Fox was a head and shoulders above everybody else, of course, and Ricky Starks, unfortunately, was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone's in-ring performance. We gained heat for both storylines, the rise of Ricky Starks and the Cult. And Ricky Starks did seem off his game, not by that much. The 38's not too bad. Gave us a 50, can't complain about that. After the fact, wow, this does a lot worse than I thought. But showing no fear post-match, Aldis confronts Pentagon by straight tope diving. Well, actually not tope, but diving off the side of the tag area, so that corner, and just kind of swantoning Pentagon, just taking him out, and the two begin to fight and just attack as they just brawl until getting broken up until Pentagon slinks away. So Nick Aldis has been showing some fear for a while. Finally got a little bit of a courage under him. Maybe a little bit of that anxiety of not wanting to look like the dinosaur, look like the one that they were going to put at the pasture. Showed it if they were going to end him, like they've made examples of people like Flip Gordon in the past, that he is not going to go quietly. We actually lose heat for this segment, unfortunately. It doesn't do as well as I expected. I think they were both set for fighting, and I think it just hurt overall. And this segment does pretty okay. I really think he should be doing better on microphone. And again, it might be one of the things that we're going to look at. After Into the Fire, we're going to do a little backstage video, as we talked about. I think one of the things is we want to take a look at some stats and just course correct some things, because I think the mod might be a little inaccurate to the reality of some situation. I'm biased in terms of obviously people that I like, but I would say Eddie Kingston's probably like one of like the top 20 promo guys out there right now. So I would think that for a straight promo with a microphone, being able to say what he wants to say, he should be pulling off 60 pluses in this situation. Maybe not 80s, maybe not 90s or something like that, but I would think like 65, maybe 70 should be his bread and butter, because he's that good in on the microphone. In the ring, he's fine. He's average, maybe slightly above average as a brawler, but when it comes to the promo work, he should be looking like he excels. I don't think they were statted right for this. Nevertheless, that's an aside. Let's see what Kingston has to say. Kingston has a lot to say. He always has a lot to say. Well, we see Kingston pacing back and forth in the parking lot. Surrounding him are the members of what he's now dubbed the Kingdom. His members of misfits and outcasts that make up the undercard of the NWA that have been unrepresented and not fought for. He ends up still pacing and eventually stops and literally grabs the cameraman from the camera and pushes him in to speak to him face to face as he starts spitting and snarling about Pillman Jr. is his latest windmill to chase after and conquer. He says, how many times have I got to prove that I am the best here? So now they want a number one contendership. He has the Founders Championship on his shoulder, taps it a little bit, right? And he says, you see this belt? This means that I am not the number one contender. I'm the ultimate contender. I can cash in anywhere, anytime. But I don't want to. I don't want to do that. Because I want you all to myself. You understand that, B? I want you to know that when you're in the ring with me, and you're dazed on the ground, looking at the lights, I want you to know that I was the one that bopped you and got you there. But now you see the powers to be here, they're circling the wagons, protecting their golden boy, trying to add more people into the mix. What for? They want to protect some golden child of theirs, the chosen one who pretends that he's an underdog. Well, you know what, chosen one? Saw your name in the dirt sheets this morning. Yeah, you got a nice 6-figure deal from Papa Pumpkin over there. You talk about honor and legacy. Yet you were ready to bounce the moment TNT came calling. Yeah, I said it. Now everyone sees it too. Just another phony and a sea of liars and cheats. But you see, here's the thing. Real meets real, but I'm real. And I'm here. And I'm taking your goddamn belt. Whether it's a one-on-one, one-on-two, whether it's an army, I'm flowing through all of them. And I'm coming for you. Kingston's pissed. Kingston sees the real-life goings-on as proof that Pillman is just a phony. Just another one that says he's about one thing and willing to cash out the moment someone else comes calling. And Kingston seems to be cut into the truth of the matter there, and a little bit of a meta-narrative. Unfortunately, the segment actually lost heat with this. That's just because the segment, the actual angle has been so hot. I think the 46 dipped it. But we know Kingston not very happy with this number one contendership match, but is still calling it out. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. He's coming for him in some capacity. Afterwards, we got a segment where Kimberly shows up with her new women's championship, grabs a microphone and says, as you heard last week, I think every woman in the NWA and the world deserves a shot at this championship, and I'm offering an open challenge. Anybody that wants a title shot can come to the ring and have a match for it. No specifics. This is 43. Does absolutely fine. And we have, oh boy, this is actually like a terrible match. Kimberly versus Kiera Hogan, who shows up. Wow. Kimberly had a 36. Kiera Hogan only had a 23. Neither of them clicked, and they just fell apart from that. So that was definitely the problem. Kimberly does retain his pinfall after a palm strike and makes defense number 2. Wow, that's really poor. Kimberly's not the best performer, but she's consistent. But I thought Kiera Hogan was going to do better in this match. It was set as a wild brawl, which Hogan is a brawler, so theoretically should have gotten the best out of her. But I think the lack of psychology hurt them. We probably should have scripted it. Maybe would have got a better result. Not by much, but yeah, that's a bummer. Oh, Ace Austin, I forgot to script you. I'm sorry. I keep on forgetting. It's still that Force of Habit from 2016. It should just be default scripted, especially with so many people getting scripting penalties or lack of script penalties. In reality, it should be that you should get penalties from being scripted too, but oh well. Anyways, Ace Austin's out there, and he comes out and he starts spitting about the new Shield, the stable that we have for some reason. And yeah, he issues a challenge. Says he's sick of this, he's sick of the games, and he's sick of the roadblocks. So he's issuing a challenge. Team versus team into the fire. Loser leaves NWA. Whole team has to go. None of this BS anymore. So he issues the challenge. We'll have to wait to see if Shield, I guess, responds in some capacity, if they are capable of doing so. We don't really know what their capabilities of even forming sentences are, because they are, oh God, just the worst. But Ace Austin makes the call and says, yeah, you and us, we're going to end this. We're going to end this stupidity. You're going to end this distraction from his legacy. And one of us is going. So it was okay. It's 41. Not too bad. It could have done better if we scripted it, but oh well. All right, we got FTR versus the Voneriks in a title match. And unfortunately, the Voneriks try as they could. Well, this is unfortunate something in here. But anyways, in a decent match, FTR do defeat the Voneriks in 17 minutes. Dax Harwood pinned Marshall Von Erich with a shatter machine after Kevin Von Erich interfered. FTR makes defense number 1 of their titles. And Dax and Cash showed excellent chemistry, as did Marshall and Vross. And they're actually 41 for a up-and-comer tag team is not too bad. They're actually not far off from FTR's performance. And Cash would be better off without Kevin Von Erich. They simply don't work together. That's fine. I'll make him just Dax's manager, I think. Will be fine. It was a poorly placed technical match. It wasn't the right thing to feed a rowdy crowd. Yeah, I should have used the women's match to slow things down a little bit instead of a brawl. But, oh well. It was a technical match. It did okay, but it is what it is, I suppose. But FTR do make defense number 1 of their tag titles, and the now fully babyface Von Erichs just couldn't do it. After, obviously, Kevin Von Erich here has switched sides and hitched his wagon to FTR and actually betrayed his own children. I mean, maybe this was out of spite. We'll have to find out what happened. But Kevin Von Erich raises up FTR's arms in celebration of their title defense. The Von Erichs obviously ringside, looking absolutely stunned and devastated. This segment does very poor just because there's a lack of anything interesting happening. I think we had everyone set for acting or something like that. Unfortunately, kind of hurt here. After that, we are going to our main event. Before our main event starts, Pillman Jr., our NWA World's Champion, joins the commentary team to watch the next match and see who is going to be his number 1 contender. And over that time, obviously he's talking about the competitors and how he feels about them and stuff like that. So he's kind of watching the proceedings. And in the proceedings, it was a superb wrestling match, great heat, and fantastic wrestling all around. Actually, all these guys did a fantastic job. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Eddie Kingston has 63 in-ring performance. His mic work should be higher than what his in-ring performance is. I'm sorry. 63 seems completely reasonable to me. Maybe if even a little high, but his mic work is the thing that makes him special. Actually, we got the wrong winner in this. Well, I guess this is a problem, but Eddie Kingston defeated Eli Drake and Miro in 14 minutes. Eddie Kingston pinned Miro illegally using the ropes for leverage. It was not supposed to be Eddie. It was supposed to be Eli Drake pinning Miro, because Pillman was supposed to come out and distract him. What the hell happened? Obviously, I said it wrong. Still show, he's not supposed to be the victor. Was supposed to be distracted by Pillman by the finish. Should be at ringside. So let's pretend that didn't happen. Eddie Kingston's supposed to lose this match. Eddie Kingston will lose this match. So it was supposed to be Eli Drake wins against Eddie and Miro because Pillman showed up ringside and distracted Eddie, and that allowed Drake to get a quick shot on Miro and win. After the fact, Pillman and Kingston come to blows. Kingston pissed off that he just lost his number one contendership, and starts fighting to the back. I mean, you guys tell me how we play this. This is definitely a misbook, a misclick situation. It's supposed to be that Eddie loses this, but we can call an audible and say he wins, and it does become a one-on-one. The idea was that going into the Fire is going to be interjected into a triple threat, but and he cash in and then vacate the Founders Championship. But I don't know. You guys tell me. Let me know, and I'll kind of follow the majority decision on that one. Because sometimes audibles happen, and sometimes confusion happens in the ring, and we can't undo it, I guess. But let me know what you guys think. Our show was 58. Actually, overall, despite some, I think, misgivings I had about some of where we were in this and some missed opportunities, this is actually a really good show. I think 58 is one of our higher ones. Pretty happy with that. Increased our popularity in 25 regions. I'll take a look. I want to see what our top performers were, but I think this was definitely up there for power. All right, let's see. Okay. We had 550 fans. The show was excellent. I certainly agree. We'll have to look at the numbers. Power figures 0.04 is certainly pretty good. Let's take a look and find out. I think if we go into events, we can look at our last ones. Certainly not the best we've ever done. That was in November. But I think this is definitely up there. This is our week 2 in December. 58, one of our top 5. Pretty damn good show. Actually, it's within the top rung for sure. In our top 10s here. Definitely the right path to continue. Seems like we do this about once a month. We have a good one, but it especially, I don't know, for some reason it felt like a really good show to me. So I guess the one thing we got to come up with is tell me about that botched ending. Do we go with it? Is it just going to be Eddie and Pillman, despite the distractions, still wins, and it's a one-on-one? Or do we call an audible and pretend that didn't happen and give it to Eli Drake so that Eddie will interject with the Founders Championship and make it a triple threat, or even come in at the end and potentially take the belt, or maybe not take the belt. We haven't even determined who's going to win that. Let me know. Anyways, that is it from me today. Thanks guys for joining me once again. I'll see you next time.